I'm gonna talk about this real fast. Talk about playing hand real fast. Just like a quick kind of jot down of how you should be playing hand, and the different ways to play hand. So the biggest thing is, in order to take your claw off and throw it around, always cancel normal when the claw switch instead of just walking back and then taking it off. It's big. You don't know what your opponent's like in the first couple of seconds of the match, so you need to read how they are and you need to determine whether you need to be taking claw on or off. Generally versus Shotos like Ryu, Akuma, Ken, Sagat with a fireball, Rose, you don't want to take claw off. Or characters you want to keep out of neutral. Cammy, you can use it. Balrog, it can be preferred to play claw. Characters like that. Urien is debatable. It can go either or depending on the Urien's playstyle, but the important thing is that when you want it off, you cancel it off. The other thing is important is the ranges you play hand at. So this is like the range you would want to play claw in here. Maybe a little further, like right here. That way your stand medium punch doesn't whiff. You can get in for the missiles, crouch fierces. If you're too far, this jumping range and whiff punishing range, Akuma will beat you up for this. There's an okay Buster Claw range and a V-Skill 1 range. For counting poking, let's say you have 3 bars, pretty good. But in hand, you generally want to be here. It's a little tiny bit closer. And the main reason is you want this button to not whiff, and you want to be able to hit these buttons to pressure. So in hand, generally you want to pressure with stand light kick the most. Priority is stand light kick. Stand light kick is a great button. It's fast, got good priority. Being a 3-frame, which is not really priority, but its range is very good compared to many other lights. And it links into just crouch light punch, and it's consistent. So if you hit this from a little further away, you'll be able to combo very easily. Where you can't do this in hand, or you can't do this in claw. Crouch light punch, light kick roll in hand is really, really good. So being able to hit confirm this is very good. You also have this. You get a counter hit. This is really good. Where this is not as reliable. Generally, the range where stand light kick hits, crouch medium punch will also hit. Where the range where crouch light punch hits, it won't always hit. There's a small range difference. You can also do stuff like this. This isn't a combo, but you can definitely get some ray health with it. Another reason you want to be a little closer to is you have the threat of just throw. Block people, throw them. Once you learn people's proximity habits, so people will generally check you right here. If people don't, easy walk and throw. If they do, you have 2 choices. You can either walk out of the range of this normal that they're checking you with. If it's light, usually you want to just walk here, stand medium, punch, heavy kick, roll. They won't drop. But if they're using mediums, this button comes into play. And so does this one. This one, if you want a thin bar. This one is good if you just want to hit them and deter them from pressing buttons. So if I'm playing against a Urien who's hitting crouch medium punch to proximity guard me, this button is insane. I get a free counter hit a lot of the times. Look at the range on this. And it's got great priority. And it's only -2 on block. And if you get a counter hit, you get enormous rewards with claw on, or with claw accessible. Even if it's super far. This is crazy good. So that's what you want to do. If people are sitting still or moving very slightly, like not too much, and they aren't really sporadic, like, you know, they're not dashing too much, hand is great. Hitting stand fierce hand is great for that, and playing in hand is for that. For sporadic enemies, you don't want to play with claw on. You have a lot more checks for opponents. The reason this is good for people who aren't moving that much is they're likely not to jump. The issue a lot of the times when I play hand is people will jump this button and they'll hit you because it's got long recovery. But the upside is you're playing hand, so even if you get knocked down or you take some damage, you're not losing anything other than health, stun, and your mask health. You still have access to claw, which is if you're playing claw and you're doing this, trying to get a whiff punish or a wish punish. You know, there's more inherent risk for this because you're losing with claw. this is not too bad. And when you're in the corner, playing hand is a little easier. If people are walking at you while you're in the corner, and let's say someone walks forward just enough, they're in your crouch light punch range, this becomes very viable. Just doing that, and if people walk too close, this is a fantastic option to have defensively, not even offensively, just defensively. If someone oversteps and you're anticipating them overstepping without pressing a button, you can simply just walk forward and command grab them, and suddenly you have the counter. It's fantastic. It's not a tool that many Vega players use because they don't play in hand too much, but with the walk speed in the corner, people go, oh, I'm in the corner, my walk speed doesn't matter. It does. It really makes a difference when you have a command grab. Because now if you walk forward, usually when I walk forward and I want to throw someone into the corner, they'll throw tech. People will just naturally do this because they're very close. You're very close to them. And you're not hitting a button, so like, oh, they want to throw me back in the corner. But if you're just walking forward, they can't tech this throw, which is fantastic. Something I want to add too is if your opponent is walking back a lot, claw is generally better. You say, oh, but I can do crouch medium kick, stand medium punch if I have to catch walk back. The thing about it is when you have an opponent who's walking back, which I can't really set up right now, a crouch light punch, walk forward, throw, whip. And a lot of times you get whiff punished for it. So even if you do this, a lot of the times people will fall out of it because their walk speed might be really good. Like a Sakura or another Vega, it's easier to just do stuff like this and then get a small bit of damage off of it. You also get more reward if they're walking back. You can also do stuff like this, and also just this is very good. Just getting the double crouch light punch, or the crouch light punch that gets blocked the first time. Like that's very good versus walk back. Much better than hand. Something I also want to talk about is the use of this button. This button got nerfed a little bit in the new season. So did this button. They have recover. The recovery is a little longer, but this button's fantastic for people who are predictably whiffing. So like a Chun-Li doing Stand Fierce. Let's say you're playing out here and for some reason you don't have your claw. It's Stand Fierce. This button is fantastic for whiff punishing. Just crouch fierce from the CA. Or crouch fierce from the EXFTA. Not likely a button Ryu is going to hit neutral. He's not a great character to have this on. You see, this could be the problem with stubby normals. They can get a lot from it, so you have to assess the risk reward of it. Generally, this button I like using better for that kind of stuff. When you're playing hand, I forgot to mention this. If you're playing against an opponent that likes hitting standing buttons, this button is good. Guile is particularly one that I can think of off the top of my head. Where stand medium punch, stand heavy kick buffer is really, really good. Yeah, it's generally menus you play V skill 1. Like this is a Ken. He's not hitting crouch medium punch a lot, but just like kind of walking in and out. Trying to get stand heavy kick. I want to add back to the stand light kick. When you're pressuring with stand light kick, you can actually shimmy pretty well with it. And it's like, you know, being a Vega player, you know that if you do this, you know, you got miles to cover to get a throw. Most people don't know that. Most people, they block this button and they go, oh no. And if you get too close to them, they might want to throw tech. So you can set up shimmies for yourself by doing stuff like this. Walking in and out. If your opponent's not hitting crouch medium kick or has generally like delayed buttons, it's very good. Something I also want to add that M Blizzard does a lot. I see he'll do this. The reason why he does this, most people don't know why. They go, oh, maybe it's just, you know, like a frame trap. Most people, when you're low health, this is what you do. You get the double jab, dash EX command grab, so people will naturally wait and or like hit delay button here. Very, very good to practice. In hand, this is also a very good meaty. In claw, it's pretty alright too. But if your opponent thinks you're gonna command grab, you'll do medium kick roll, you do light kick roll. This is pretty good. Just as an answer, if they V-shift, you can V-shift back. If they V-reversal, you can V-skill 2 if you have it, or you can V-shift depending on how fast the V-skill is. You can't do versus Ken, but you can do it. Who's got a really slow V-reversal? Maybe like a Gil or a Sagat. Maybe Guile. Something I want to add too. Hand is a lot stronger if your opponent jumps. If you're not using heavy AC, if you're not getting stand heavy kick, and someone has a really pesky jump, this is fantastic, and air throw is fantastic. And you might be saying, well, you know, I have air throw and claw too. What's the difference? The biggest difference is if I air throw someone, in hand I can get a fuzzy guard stand light punch. I'm gonna try to get this. I don't think I saved the state. Whoops! I didn't save the state, excuse me. Set that to jump. Okay, get it. Actually, just finish the crouch. So I get that. I'll be a little closer if I air throw them properly, but that's pretty good. People will have to guess. You'll be closer. You'll be about right here after the air throw. People will have to guess between the low. So +2, so you can do the low. +2, +3. So you can get the low to catch the walk back, which is really good. You can do this in claw too. I recommend in claw that you do crouch slide punch, crouch light kick, crouch slide punch. Confirm if they're walking back. In hand, just do this, or you can do that. If they think a command grab is coming, stand light punch, crouch medium punch is good. You'll catch them trying to jump or backdash. If they V-shift, you'll generally be safe with this. Even so, you can go for another throw. And if they V-shift, stand heavy kick. You're plus enough that it's a real thing for it. Buffer that behind it. You also get a command grab. I would recommend not doing this when your opponent has low health. They're more likely to V-shift. I would set it into the brain early into the match. That's another thing too I want to talk about real fast. When you use command grab, most of the time when people are low health, they're going to expect the command grab. So you want to not use command grab when people are low health because it's very predictable, and it's also a lot safer for people now because they can V-shift. So if you commit to a normal with the command grab, V-shift beats both. You go for regular throw, you'll beat V-shift if you have an OS for it. Generally when people are low health, try not to command grab them. I would say if you are going to, take command grab, stay medium kick, crouch slide punch. These are great ways to do it. Even then, people will V-shift. Good players will V-shift after the hit, after the block, or after the hit. So just be aware of that. Is there anything else in particular I want to talk about? When you're in hand, slide is okay. You're generally going to be at a range where slide's not great to use. You generally want to use slide out here where people will with normal. Generally fall normal. Oh, the great thing about hand 2, that's great. Always fantastic. +2. Catch the walk back if people are walking back in this situation. You know, the claw is very, very good. Keep on. These are some of the situations where having that claw off is fantastic. What else is there? That's all I really can think of. Mainly, stay in this range. Stand light kick is main button. These two are your other main buttons. This is good to catch the walk forward. This is good versus opponents who aren't jumping, but are kind of buttonsy for proximity guard. This is good for people who are buttonsy and are kind of just whiffing big buttons. Fantastic buffer. Even for the light kick roll. Stuff like this. Even if you want to go leaderless. Don't ever in your life do stand heavy punch light kick roll. Don't do this. If you hit an extended limb, it'll drop. it's not consistent. The best things you got are that. That's a good one. I would say learn how to do this. It's a good tool. It hits from very long range. This is also good to do in the super. It forces standing. You're more likely to get the super. Got longer hit stun too. So, but yeah, when you're pressuring with this, these are your main buttons. You rarely get to use this. Rarely get to use this. Don't really use this too often. This becomes a great meaty. This is also a good meaty to catch people who want to get the command grab, you know. This is a good combo to catch the walk back immediately. Learn this combo, please. This is one I don't use myself a lot. And yeah, just if... Oh, something I want to talk about. This is getting to be a long video. A lot of the concepts that you can learn in hand apply to claw, and they're better. So this is... I mentioned it briefly in the Vega Discord, but let's say I want to play hand. This doesn't reach because of the pushback. This, however, reaches. This is a fantastic frame trap. It doesn't require you to have your brain really that active. And even if people hit 3 frame, you're generally too far that their 3 frame won't hit you here. Most characters. There's a few exceptions. This is very good. This is very good. If you play V-Trigger 2, I would recommend you learn stand light kick pressure, learn how to confirm the counter hits. Also stuff like this to catch delayed counter pokes. Seems a little weird. But a lot of the close combat stuff, if you're very good at close combat and claw, a lot of it applies to hand. If you're very good with hand, a lot of it applies to claw. Start sneaking stuff in like this. Only do 1 light, I recommend, if you're going to do this. So this hits, so crouch light punch, stand light kick, stand fierce hits, but stand light kick, crouch light punch, fierce does not hit. Don't ask me how that works, it's just how Street Fighter works. But I think that's it. That's all I really wanted to shortly talk about. Shortly, I say 17 minutes. If anyone has any questions or any discussions about this, I will be posting this in the Vega Discord, where I will likely have a lengthy conversation with a particular individual about this. Appreciate it, and yeah.